Hey, this is me, and today I'm here to watch my calendar. This is a Disney vintage poster calendar. It's for 2021, obviously. And yeah, every month has like a different movie poster for it. This was the one for April. I know that video was pretty recent. I was pretty late with it. April was a weird month and didn't get around to watching the movie for April, let alone make the video, edit the video and everything. So getting it in May. And while also doing the May video, I literally just finished filming the Cinderella video. So yeah, let's just not wait any longer and see what the movie is gonna be. 1, 2, 3. It's Pinocchio. It's Pinocchio. Okay, I can live with Pinocchio. Yes. Okay. It's another one with a fairy godmother. At least I don't know if she's called a fairy godmother. It's another one with like a magical fairy thing. She's dressed in blue. And yeah, this is also one that I watched in my childhood, so it shouldn't be that bad, but like I have not that great of a memory of it, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll check in with you later once I actually have time to watch the movie. Yeah. Every year I buy a calendar, and in 2020 I bought that calendar, which is a Disney calendar showing like vintage posters, and I really enjoy having it, but I also got this idea of like, what if I watch every movie that is on the calendar? And you know, I didn't have Disney Plus in 2020 until September, so that wouldn't be an easy task. So I decided 2021 I buy the same calendar, but just the 2021 edition. I'll actually do this thing. Every month I'll be watching the movie that the calendar tells me to watch. I give you my review, and that's this video. Let's go. Okay, so it's a couple of days later and I'm gonna be watching Pinocchio. I have to put on my glasses in a minute because otherwise my eyes will hurt. But it's Pinocchio time. What do I know about Pinocchio? Again, I know the basic story of Pinocchio. I grew up with fairy tales. I told you that. But I found something that I thought I'd show you because I have this, which is a storybook which contains Pinocchio and Peter Pan. It's of course in Dutch. But yeah, I remember reading this. I mainly remember the Peter Pan story of this. It's just like the movie retold in book form. But I just have more memories of Peter Pan. But it also has Pinocchio in it. And I vaguely remember that, so I went to look for it, and it's very dusty because I haven't been a child for a very long time. So yeah, I'm gonna be putting that back as well in a minute. I thought I'd show you that because I thought it was fun, and to prove to you that I know the story because I read it. I think I've also seen the movie. I'm not entirely sure, but I do think so, especially because I own this book. I doubt that I just owned it for Peter Pan, so I'm assuming I also saw Pinocchio at some point. Now also recently, there's an older thing, but only first saw it a couple of years ago, and that is a musical from Studio Onlicht, which is kind of the Flemish Disney for Flemish people, at least. And yeah, I love this. I mean, I really like this musical. I like what they did with the story, but I mainly just like love the villain in this, and like one of my favorite musical songs comes from this. And yeah, I'd also share with you that. Okay, so editing me quickly popping in because when I was looking for like that picture of the musical, I also found this, which is a little book which also has a story of Pinocchio in it, which is also from Studio Onlicht, and I also had that, so I thought I'd include that as well. And yeah, that's how I know the story of Pinocchio. I know the story of Pinocchio, all wrapped up. I just feel like usually I'm just like, yeah, I know the story of this movie. I have vague memories of watching it. That's usually how these intros go. But I thought, as I have more things to tell you about Pinocchio, I will tell you about those things. And yeah, let's just watch it together. Okay, so I quite liked seeing like all the clocks, like what they do. I know it's such a small detail and it's no part to the plot, so I don't know I'm talking to you about this, but I just thought it was a cool scene to see like all the clocks like go off and like see what they do, because like those kind of clocks aren't really that common anymore, so you don't really see like the all different things that are possibilities. So I thought that was interesting. Although the last one was a mother spanking a child, just like an adult woman spanking a child. I don't know their relationship, I don't know if that would like pass today. Like, who would want a clock like that? You know what I mean? Like, imagine us having a clock in your house which shows like an adult woman spanking a child like that. That's like not something we do today, you know?
I wish that my little Pinocchio might be a real boy.
Too bad you said it out loud. Now it can come true. First rule of wishing: never say it out loud. Won't come true. You screwed up, my man. Did he just light a match with his ass? What the fuck was that? Okay, so here's another segment of things in Disney movies that I just don't understand. That's why Geppetto was sending Pinocchio off to school on his own. Now, first of all, bad idea for a young child. But you know, different times. I understand. But Pinocchio has been alive for like a night. He's never left the house. How is he supposed to know where the school is? Like, how? Very simply, how does he know where the school is? He also doesn't know how to read, so don't say street signs, because he doesn't know how to read. He woke up, like, he became alive a couple of hours ago. He doesn't know how to read. So how does Geppetto expect for this little child to arrive at school where he's never been, all on his own?
You haven't heard of the easy road to success. No, I'm speaking my boy of the theater.
Okay, so I'm not in theater, but like, who in theater would describe theater as the easy road to success? Because no one. Okay, so I've already noticed a difference between this movie and like the musical that I know, which I think is a very big difference. Like, they end up in the same goal, but like, I don't know, it's a very big difference in my opinion. But in the musical, Pinocchio gets to school. He's actually set off at school by Geppetto. So he gets to school, but he gets bullied relentless by the other children because he's a puppet. He's wooden. And you know, children, they are brutal. So if you're different, so he gets bullied. And then, of course, like, doesn't feel like going to school. And it's like, fuck this. And then those idiots. The musical are called Fox and Stott, and they're also very different. This is them. I love them so much. Great comedy. But they take note of him and then take him to the circus. And it's so easy to convince him because he's already like, fuck school. And like, his conscience can't like convince him otherwise, because he's like, those children hate me, so bye. Meanwhile, in this movie, Pinocchio never gets to school. And it's just him being naive that gets him. Like, him being naive is what helps the honest Mr. John. No, Mr. Honest John. That's the order. Damn. I guess Honest John to like take him with him to the circus. I think that's so different because I feel like in this case, like, Pinocchio has no real reason to disobey Jiminy's advice. Like, there was no real reason. He's just like, yes, I'm gonna act and I'm not gonna listen to you, even though you're the one that's supposed to know better. Like, in a musical, when Pinocchio's conscience, which is another puppet brought to life from Geppetto's shop, but when his conscience is trying to convince him, like, hey, go back to school, that's the good option. Like, at least he has a reason to say no, because he was just like bullied relentlessly there. So yeah, I just want to note on that because I feel like the other one makes more sense, so I thought I'd share that with you. Okay, so that seems highly inappropriate, especially considering like Pinocchio is a literal child. But also, like, Pinocchio very much has like the personality of a toddler. Like, we established that by him constantly asking like why questions when going, like, before going to sleep. Like, that's very much like toddler behavior. It's like, why the fuck are we doing that? Look, I know I already made this joke. Well, I did my Cinderella video like a couple of days ago, but like, very gay indeed. Like, this life is very, very gay. We love it here. Okay, but a full-grown adult man asking for little boys so he can bring them to Pleasure Island. That sounds... Do I even need to explain to you what it sounds like? Because, fuck, that's definitely not what it's called in Dutch, by the way. Like, a rough translation of, like, the Dutch term is, like, lazy land. So, like, it's a place for kids to be lazy, you know? But Pleasure Island, that's not the name I would have gone with. Okay, so I've noticed another change, like, difference. It's not a change. It's a difference between the movie and the musical. I'm calling it a difference because the musical is not based on this movie, so I don't know why I first went to call it a change. But in the movie, so far, whenever Pinocchio made, like, one decisions, so, like, to basically just follow along what Sean's saying, like, those decisions are constantly being made when Jiminy Cricket isn't around, which, by the way, Jiminy Cricket is a terrible conscience. He's, like, almost never around until it's too late. But, yeah, so those decisions are being made without Jiminy Cricket, so without his conscience. But in the musical, Pinocchio, like, constantly goes against his conscience. Like, his conscience is constantly saying, like, don't do that. And he's like, I am gonna do that. So, I don't know, I feel like, even though perhaps the one from the musical is most realistic, because we all sometimes go against a little voice in our head that tells us not to do things, but I just like what the movie does more, because I feel like, I don't know, it sets up Pinocchio more to, like, be a good kid, you know, because in the musical, he's constantly going against his conscience, which you would say, like, oh, that's a bad person, but he still gets rewarded at the end. But in the movie, he's constantly making these decisions without his conscience, or without someone telling him that it's not a good choice. And I think, I don't know, it just puts me, just him being naive and twisting, so I feel like, you know, it makes more sense that he's considered, like, a good human at the end. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I just realized? So, like, on the carriage, about to go on the boat to Pleasure Island. Still hate that name, by the way. Just realized that the carriage is, like, being pulled. Is that the right word? I don't know. But it's being pulled by donkeys. And now, if you're not familiar with Pinocchio, the kids on Pleasure Island, I hate that so much, turn into donkeys. Like, that's the whole thing. So, in other words, this carriage is being pulled by kids. Are you ready for another difference? I don't know if anyone is interested in this, but I think it's very interesting, so I'm going to talk about it. So, musical. In the musical, when Pinocchio escapes from the island, because I'm not calling it Pleasure Island again, I'm just calling it the island, he does it in a way that frees, like, all the children around there. Like, he works together with, like, some of the other children, because they're all, like, different gender children, just children, they're boys, they're girls, probably some non-binary pals there as well, but he works together with some of the other children, and, like, everyone's free when he escapes. Here, Pinocchio just escapes on his own with Geppetto, like, so, while letting this business happen, or maybe, like, something at the very end happens that, you know, kind of, like, helps the other people there as well, but I doubt it. Hi, I finished Pinocchio, and I think that's gonna be a weird video to watch because I kept comparing it to the musical that I know. I apologize. I maybe shouldn't have done that, but I just give you my thoughts that I have while watching, and I just kept comparing the two. So, there you go. And also, I was right. They don't fix anything about the island. So, but yeah, I really liked this. I was surprised with it because even though, like, I know the story of Pinocchio and I'm also, like, grown up watching it, it was never one that I was, like, very interested in it. So, you know, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's like that, even that musical has been out for a while. I don't know when it came out. Should I look it up with you together? I'm not wearing my glasses though, so that's gonna go great. Okay, so the musical was put on for the first time in 2000. and then for the second time 2006, and yeah, 2006 in Belgium and 2008 in the Netherlands. I think I'm familiar with the 2006 version. So, you know, it's been out for a while and I've only seen it a couple of years ago for the first time. So, like a recording of it, of course. So, you know, it's taken me a while, and I love the musicals from Studio 100, so there is no reason why I should have waited this long to watch it, except I just wasn't interested in the story of Pinocchio. So I wasn't expecting to like this movie at all, but I really did. You know, so far the past two have been pleasantly surprised. I think, again, I'm going with a 3.5 rating. I did quite like the story a little bit more than Cinderella, but I feel like this one had more dull moments than Cinderella had. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Cinderella, just my last video. I only watched it a couple of days ago, so it's easy to compare my thoughts. The playlist to the entire thing is in the description, by the way, so go check it out if you want to know more of my thoughts on any of these other movies that I watched. But I don't know, there was a couple of little moments. I felt bored at times. Just certain scenes that I feel like I could have been a little bit cut a little bit shorter or anything, but I did still have a grand old time watching it. Music didn't really do anything for me in this one, but I did really like the cast of characters. Are very one-dimensional, as typical for this kind of story, so you know, I'm not surprised. But I really liked him. I loved Jiminy Cricket, even though like he is a shite conscious. He didn't deserve that badge at the end. He's terrible, but I did really like him as a character to follow. So you know, I appreciate that. And I think Pinocchio is also very interesting character to follow, because like I said, he's basically a toddler. So I don't know, I feel like it's very different from what we usually like follow in movies. So I thought that was very interesting. And Geppetto is a great father figure. Just, you know, drop your kid off at school. Don't let them walk on their own. For the rest, great. Quite like Figaro and Cleo, which is interesting because they don't talk. You know, they're just animals, but I quite like the inclusion in the story as well. Villains are kind of subpar though, like, you know, they don't really have like a personality that really shines through, so a little bit disappointed in that. But still, a 2.5 out of 5 stars, that's great. Now my ranking, where does this put in the ranking? Do I like it more or less than Cinderella? That's a great question. I don't know, I feel like they're on the same level. I don't know which one I would put first if I would have to rank them, which is what I'm trying to do here. So, no, I think I'm gonna put Cinderella first, then this one, and then Sleeping Beauty and Bambi last. Still, I didn't like that movie at all. And then of course, I'm not ranking Sea Scouts because it's 8 minutes short. I don't feel like I could fairly compare that to these movies. So, it's not ranked in there. Now my thoughts on it. Links in the description, of course. Thoughts on all these movies are in a playlist that I linked down below. So yeah, I'm happy with how this went, and hopefully next month, aka June, which is gonna be exam month, so we'll see how that goes, but hopefully I'll actually do it in time, not like April where I'm a month late. So yeah, I'm kind of curious about your guesses. What do you think I'll be watching next month? And yeah, also your opinions on this movie. Feel free to leave them below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? Should've